Welcome back to Morning Mix. We're joined again by private wealth advisor Will Rogers to follow up on last week's discussion on workplace retirement plans. And today we're getting into some of the specific pros and cons of leaving it versus rolling it over. So thanks, Will, for joining us yet again.
See you.
Right. No, so glad to be here. And, we were talking beforehand. Our phone's been ringing off the hook. My entire team's got their calendars booked with folks that have questions on this. And one of the resources that I want to let folks know when they're looking at what to do is on our website, wrogers.info. We've got this phenomenal rollover evaluator where it'll just take you through question by question and see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and give you the chance to look at the pros and cons. Because really, you've got three choices. You can roll the funds to an IRA, you can leave your funds in the old plan,
Right.
or you can roll them over to your new employer's plan.
So what are some of the key reasons for moving money to an IRA?
Well, typically folks are going to have much wider choices with an IRA. And so having those additional choices, and if it's something where they're not planning on accessing the money until after 59 and a half, then the traditional IRA's got some really good positive points with it. You've got much more control with an IRA, and the distribution options are something that you can control when the money is going to come out and how the taxes is withheld on it. And in some cases, an IRA may be less expensive than your plan. Most cases, an IRA is more expensive, so be aware of the fees.
Yeah.
But in some cases, you can save costs on that.
Okay, saving is what we want to do. What are some of the key reasons of keeping your accounts with your former employer?
There can be some really key reasons, and unfortunately, rarely is anybody there being the cheerleader for the old plan, but there can be some really good reasons. I was talking with somebody that has company stock in their plan, and they're all ready to roll stuff out. And I'm like, no, wait a minute, we need to keep this there, because if we take it out a certain way, there's a concept of net unrealized appreciation that you can get very favorable tax treatment on the disbursement of those dollars. So if you've got company stock is one reason. A second reason, and this is really big, if you're separating service after age 50, if you're a public employee, right, you can access those monies after age 50 without the 10% penalty. If you're a regular private sector employee with a 401k, you need to be over age 55. But that's still a lot sooner than age 59, all right? So you can access that money earlier if you need it. And there's folks we were working with needed some of that money to buy a house, and so we left that money there. They needed to access it at 57, and so they had that bucket of money that they could tap into.
Okay, so that's leaving with a former employer.
Correct.
Okay, let's flip it. Say you've changed jobs. Advantages switching to your current employer.
Simplicity is the biggest one. Just, if you got all those sold stuff somewhere else, bringing it over to the new place where you're keeping an eye on things in one place. I know they're talking about summertime safety coming up here. Imagine watching your kids in your pool, but then you got some of your other kids 3 doors down in the neighbor's pool. How are you going to keep an eye on same thing with your money? So as you're looking at what's going on, having everything together is one good place. A second reason for going to the new plan is if you plan on working after age 72, you can keep making contributions to that workplace plan, and you don't face required minimum distributions if you're still working. And a lot of folks like to work well into their 70s. Y'all would be really surprised.
Sure.
Some of my happiest, healthiest retirees are working well into their 70s, and not because they need the money, just because it gives them meaning and purpose and seeing cool people.
Does hanging out at the beach, does that constitute work?
We've got a family beach trip coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm dreading it.
Being on a boat, though, that's a good one right there.
Which is Will's first word, by the way, was boat, is what he told us earlier. So thanks for sharing that. And we actually have your website we want to pull up and show everyone, Will. I know you were talking about this earlier. If you just want to walk people through where they can go.
Right there in the middle, understanding IRA options. So, if you click on the See Your Options, that's one where it brings up this evaluator, and on the bottom right, there's a next button that you can go in, and it will walk you through the different options that you have, what's important to you. If it's saving for retirement or transitioning, are you living in retirement? Wherever you're at, it'll personalize it for your stage of life and bring out several pros and cons where you can just see what's best for you. So go ahead, take a look, dive into the website. Free tool. You can see what's going on. You can understand your options far better. wrogers.info.
All right, there you go. And then you've got a first chance to look at it right there. wrogers.info. Will, appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Glad to be here. See you guys.
Choices on your money. Hopefully got some good